Welcome back, Nintendo collectors. Alex here with my promised Nintendo Switch collection. Now guys, I don't normally like doing these type of videos, reeling one game off after another, but because it's a Nintendo Switch and I feel quite passionate about the console because it has become my favourite Nintendo console of all time. And that's saying something, because the Super Nintendo for me has been my favourite for many years. And I never thought they'd beat that, actually. So many great games on the Super Nintendo. But I've got to say, the Switch has taken over, guys. It is an unbelievable system. And you know, when we went to the launch, I went to the premiere of the Switch's launch 3 or 4 years ago now at London's Hammersmith Odeon with my good friend Roger. I couldn't even see it then, to be honest with you, because the lineup, the launch titles weren't that great. Of course, they had their flagship game, Breath of the Wild, which was really exciting to see. I mean, this was the first time ever we'd seen Zelda in an open world environment, this massive expanse that they've never done before. And that was incredible to see and unbelievable to get hands on, first of all, and before anyone else had played it. I remember actually being totally blown away by the game. In fact, I've sunk 600 hours into that game, which is incredible when you think about it. Normally you sink probably 10 to 20 hours in any game, but to sink 600 hours makes you think, well, that's worth owning the console just for that one game. It really is. But what about the other games that launch? I mean, you had Street Fighter Ultra. Well, we've all played Street Fighter before. Snipperclips, which was actually quite fun, which I've actually gone back to and played a lot. 1-2 Switch, which was really just a tech demo. But I do actually like showing people who have never played the Switch before that game, because they're actually quite amazed about how the Joy-Cons work. Because you know, you've got that ball game, you have to guess how many balls are in the box. And you can feel them rolling around. They're always totally blown away by that. And you know, milking the cows is always funny. But other than that, you had ARMS, which I remember playing at the launch, and they put me up against an 8-year-old kid, and he totally rinsed me, you know, whipped my ass at that game, because I was using the Joy-Cons physically. I've never used the Joy-Cons physically since then. But yeah, that was an alright game, but it never went on really to be that successful. It was really Zelda Breath of the Wild that really carried them through those first 6 months until the other games were released. And they were a little bit slow off the mark, to be honest with you. But since then, my oh my, I mean, they've just released game after game after game, and some fantastic box sets, which we'll get into. But the actual console itself, I mean, I'm not going to pick it up, but you've seen it before. It's got the Joy-Cons, it's got the dock that you put it in, which I normally play it on. I usually have it docked and play it on this screen here. But you know, if I want to, I can pick it up, which is quite handy, take it into the house, sit on the couch and play it and be with the family. And I think that is a mass appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people use it in handheld mode. Because I think their R&D handheld section came in and sort of merged with the Switch R&D section, and together they created this kind of hybrid console, which is, there's nothing else like it on the market, and I think that's why it's been so successful. It is a fantastic console, it really is, but it's nothing without the games. It has to have good games, and it has some brilliant games, it really does. It was never going to be as powerful as the other two, but you know, it doesn't have to be. For me, it doesn't have to be anyway. It's always about the games and gameplay. So guys, before we get into all the physical games, and I'm going to show you some lovely box sets from limited run, signature edition games, Pixel in Love, some lovely box sets. Before we get into that, I'm going to show you what games I've been downloading, DLC only games, because there's some fantastic ones there too. It's just a shame a lot of them don't get released physically, because that's preferably the way I'd like to go with a lot of these games, because you feel like you own them then. You're in ownership of the game, you know. If I was ever to lose that, you know, okay, you could upload them to the cloud now and then download them again. But I always feel if I own the game physically, it's mine. But still, you know, you can get some really cheap deals if you buy them DLC only, and a lot cheaper than a lot of the physical games. So definitely worth checking out. Right, so we're going to look at some of the games I've downloaded for the system before we get into all the physical games. Just briefly touch on a few of these because there are some really good games and some of them are quite cheap now for the system. The Darkest Dungeon I found was a really good tactical turn-based RPG. Fire Emblem Warriors I never got to play. I think probably just a demo I played of that. Donkey Kong 3, one of my favourite arcade games by Nintendo. Splatoon 2, great party game, sure you know all about that. Star Force, fantastic arcade game. In fact, Arcade Archives have released some amazing arcade games for the Switch, which I've really enjoyed playing. Some exclusives as well. We've got Space Dave, which is quite a fun little take on Galaxians. Snipper Clips, really enjoyed playing that with my partner. The Namco Museum's got the Pac-Man Versus, which is great 4-player fun. Heavy Burger, take on Burger Time. Donkey Kong. Gris, beautiful atmospheric platform game. Thumper, really good rhythm game, came out early on the Switch. We've got Fortnite, I haven't really played. Wolverblade, really nice side-scrolling beat-em-up with kind of like a Celtic theme. And then we've got Diablo. The Gardens Between was a beautiful game. Beautiful puzzle game. Transistor I gave a go, but I couldn't get into it. I really wanted to get into Transistor, but I couldn't get into that game for some reason. Sky Skipper, which is a game, obviously, if you follow my channel, you'd know all about. It was an unreleased game by Nintendo, and I found the original PCB years ago now, and we got in touch with Nintendo of America, and they happened to have the only remaining arcade machine left in the world, and they let me and my partner scan the game, and we revealed it in Atlanta to the world 3 years ago, and Don James, head of Nintendo of America, ported it to the Switch. So it's fantastic to see Sky Skipper, an unreleased Nintendo game on the system. What else we got? Those two games I've bought physically. A lot of these games I've bought physically, they just come up as thumbnails. I'm just trying to pick out the ones that I've downloaded digitally. Heroic Episode, an unusual arcade game I've never played before. Xeno Crisis, which was released to the Mega Drive. Fantastic twin stick shooter. Actually plays best on the Switch because you can use the analog sticks, obviously. A lot of these games I've got physically. Sunset Riders, nice to have that, the arcade version. Aero Fighters, Balloon versus Balloon Fight. Then there's a game that you could only ever play on the Red Tent, which is an arcade machine. That's nice to play on the Switch. What else? We've got Gunbird there. I've got physically Armed F. Never heard of this game by Nishibitsu, which I actually own the PCB of now. Really fun vertical shooter. Jetson Guns, quite a nice horizontal shooter. Had a bit of fun with that. The Castlevania collection. This is actually really good. You've got all of the, not all of the Castlevania games, but there's quite a few ones I haven't got. So the Castlevania collection. You've got Simon's Quest, Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania, Castlevania Adventure on the Game Boy, Belmont's Revenge, a Game Boy game. You know, a lot of these games are worth quite a lot of money now, so it's really nice to have them on here. Kid Dracula, really expensive game to get, and there's bonus book, history, all about those games, and Japanese versions as well. So a great package, totally worth getting. And then we've got Yi Kung Fu, an arcade classic of mine, love that game. Punch Out, a Nintendo game with the 2 screens. You've got a couple of pinball games, and I do like the pinball games. but I don't spend that much time on them, to be honest with you. Doom 64 was ported to the Switch. That's a brilliant version of Doom, exclusive to the N64, now it's on the Switch. Polestar, a Neo Geo game. R-Type Dimensions, I wouldn't mind getting a physical copy of that. Burning Rubber, aka Bump and Jump. Hyper Sentinel, what a fantastic game this was. Really enjoyed Hyper Sentinel. It was really a sequel to Iridium that came out on the Commodore 64 and Sinclair Spectrum. Gemini Wing, brilliant arcade game. Moon Patrol, another brilliant arcade game. And then, of course, I subscribed to the NES and Super Nintendo downloadable games. And then we've got Katana Zero. That was a fantastic game. Really enjoyed that. You can't get a physical copy of that, so that's well worth downloading digitally. And then we've got the Valsara collection, which is a load of shoot 'em ups. In the Hunt, classic PlayStation Neo Geo game. And then we've got Earth Atlantis. And then we've got the anniversary collection of arcade classics from Konami, which is a must, because some of these games are so expensive to buy. I mean, Salamander, aka Life Force, you're talking £800 to £1,000 if you wanted to buy the PCB, and it's a brilliant arcade port. Typhoon, not so keen on that game, to be honest with you. Haunted House, Vulcan Venture, which is Gradius 2, I believe, Thundercross, and then you've got books and history, Scramble, Twinbee, Nemesis, aka Gradius. Absolute fantastic collection. And then we've got to finish off The Butcher, which I thoroughly enjoyed. A brilliant pixelated, I mean, the graphics are so small, but it's all guns, all blood, all gore, and I thoroughly enjoy just obliterating screen after screen of enemies. I can't recommend The Butcher enough. I really enjoyed that. It took me about 8 or 10 hours to finish, but absolutely loved it. So that's it, guys. That is all my games that I've downloaded onto the Switch. Let's have a look now at my physical games, which is Super Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers, this is the limited edition box set, is one of my favourite games of all time. I loved it on the Wii U. I thought it was brilliant. When I heard it was getting ported over to the Switch, that was it. The Wii U was defunct. It really was. It was the only reason why I was going back to the Wii U, to be honest with you, was to play Smash Brothers. But having it on the Switch, this is the ultimate version of Smash Brothers. I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, the N64 is the best. It's not. It's not. This is the best. The amount of characters you've got in this is unbelievable. It really is. From the Street Fighter characters to Bayonetta to all the arcade characters. And, you know, you've got lots of nods to Nintendo's history, which I like, with the Game & Watch characters and the trophies that you get with Jack from my Nintendo Arcade Sheriff. He's in it, which I love touches like that. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's an easy game to pick up. Easy to pick up, but very hard to master, which is what I like, which I think what makes a game brilliant. And this is a brilliant game. It really is. Love it. This box set basically comes with a GameCube controller, which you can plug into the Switch, and it comes with a 4-port adapter, so 4 of you can play at the same time locally, which is awesome. So that's my first Nintendo Switch game. Next up, we have a recent pickup, which is Slain Back to Hell. Haven't played this yet, only picked this up last week, but it's supposed to be really good. Sort of very gothic style hack and slash type game. Next up is another recent pickup, is Hardcore Mecha, which is sort of a nod to the old Super Nintendo game Cybernator, with a bit more of a storyline and anime feel about it. But what I've played with it so far, I'm really enjoying, although there's a lot of controls to manage which takes a little bit of getting used to, but really good game. That's Hardcore Mecha. Next up, we've got Luigi's Mansion 3. I've played probably about 3 to 4 hours of this game. I find the pace of it a little bit slow for my liking, although it's a highly polished game, you can tell that. Great game to play with the kids, because it's quite slow paced. Yeah, it's okay, but I don't know, I'll probably go back to it at some point, but I'm not in a rush to. So that gives you an idea of how much I like the game. Super Mario Odyssey, flagship game of the Switch. Brilliant game, which I finished. I haven't gone back and got all the extras, which I should do, because it is one of those games that's just going to last forever, isn't it? Just one of those games you just keep dipping into every now and again, getting that little bit further, that little bit more. Absolute classic. I know I'm not the biggest Mario fan, to be honest with you. I'm more of a Zelda Metroid fan. But, you know, it's a masterpiece and a must-have for your Nintendo Switch. We've got Smash Brothers, that's just in the case, normal case. We've got Animal Crossing, which I haven't played a lot of. I really got this one for the kids, really, because I literally killed the 3DS version and played it so much. Must have put 200 hours into the 3DS version and got completely burnt out by the game. And I have no desire, really, to go into this game at all, because I know I would lose myself. And I've got other games I would rather play. But if you haven't played Animal Crossing before, this is the one to get. And again, it's another Nintendo flagship game and a must-have for your system. If you've never played this before, it's a brilliant game. Horizon Chase Turbo. One of my favourite racing games on the Switch. It's a hark back to the old Super Nintendo game Top Gear. Very fast-paced, quite twitchy, can be quite frustrating, but it's got that arcade feel which I like, and very addictive, I should say, rather. Brilliant game, good music. Same guy who wrote the music for the Super Nintendo game, wrote the music for this game. So it's got a real Super Nintendo feel about it. I love it. I think it's brilliant. The racer to get on the Switch. Next up is Sin Mora. It's an okay shooter. Very pretty shooter, but not that exhilarating. Not really big on thrills, if I was to be honest with you, but beautiful to look at and a nice little run through, I guess. Next up, we've got Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. This is another Wii U port to the Switch. I think it's got added features, maybe more levels. I haven't got that far. Got quite a way through the game. Probably finished about 80% of the game. Brilliant little game. Lovely little puzzle game. Very charming. Got that Nintendo feel about it. Very bright, beautiful colours. Lovely sprites. Sprites? I've gone past sprites years ago. Just beautiful animations. It really is. Cutesy little game. If you like puzzle games, I recommend this. Next up, I've got Dark Souls. Really looking forward to this coming on the Switch. Absolutely fantastic game. Rock hard fantasy hack and slash. But man, you've got to be skilled to play this game. You can't just button bash through this game at all. It's beautiful. The animations are just totally bizarre. You know, really Japanese feel to the game. I don't know where they get their ideas for some of these bosses. It's just, they've got such great imagination. I love it. It's right up my street. I haven't finished it yet. I've got to keep going back to this. But, you know, it is hard. It is hard. And it is a bit of a memory game, really. You have to keep going back and remembering where everything is. And just be a little bit patient with the way you get through this game. You can't just run through it. You have to be very patient. But an absolute classic to have. Next up, oh my God, here we go. Nintendo's flagship game, Mario Kart 8, the Ultimate Edition. It really works. The Deluxe Edition, it is the Ultimate Edition. It's got everything on there. Absolutely fantastic game. But this is an old game now. This came out on the Wii U. they really need to bring out a new Mario Kart. And maybe, you know, reinvent it really like they did with Zelda. I think they really need to change it around. I mean, this is perfect. This is a perfect game. But because they've made this perfect game, I feel like they really need to make something completely different next time. Maybe with like a level editor would be cool. Make your own tracks would be cool, you know. But what can I say? Brilliant. Brilliant online game with your mates. Superb. Dragon's Dogma, which came out on the 360, which I missed out on. I told was really, really good, but the pace of it, I don't know, I've struggled to get into it, but I've heard it's really good. I mean, I should be getting into it. It is a fantasy game. I love my fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, but I just don't have the time for it. You know, I'm just going to get straight in there in the action. But I wouldn't dismiss it. If you like fantasy games, definitely check this one out. Next up is Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. This is a Castlevania game, which I haven't even played yet, guys. I need to. I've got too many Castlevania games I need to pick up and play. But yeah, it's supposed to be really good. I think there's Curse of the Moon as well, which I haven't got yet, which is supposed to be better. Is it? I'm not sure. But yeah, I need to give this a go. But it's a Castlevania game. And next we've got Esterad, which is a bullet hell cave game. This is an import game from Japan. If you like your bullet hell games, definitely play this, guys. It is one of those arcade games that is quite hard to master, really. You have to know where everything is. Bullet hell, I'm not great at, but I thought I'd give it a go. I always give games a go, different genres a go, see if I like them. Preferably, I prefer the old style shooters, sort of the 80s, early 90s, because it's just a little bit too much going on for my liking. But, you know, a lot of people do like these bullet hells, and this is supposed to be a really good one. But I'm not really the sort of person to judge, really. I went through it, played through the whole of the game, thought it was an okay experience, you know. But I know for a lot of people, this game is quite highly rated. And next we've got Skyrim. Thought I was going to really enjoy this, get into this game, but I didn't at all. I don't know why. I think I played Morrowind to death and Oblivion to death. I just thought, oh no, not all over again. I don't know. And I find the combat system a bit tiring now. I just find myself running backwards all the time, trying to defend myself. I don't know. I think I need to update the combat system in this. And it would be a brilliant game. But, you know, it's Skyrim. You know, if you want a big open world adventure, fantasy adventure, this is the one to get. It's huge. You could sink thousands of hours into this game and still never get to the bottom of it. But, yeah, totally recommended if you haven't played it. But, you know, like me, if you've played Morrowind and Oblivion, you might find it a bit tiring. Right, next we've got a game that I finished and absolutely loved this game. This was an awesome game, guys. This is Gigantic Army. Brilliant game. This is a hark back to the Super Nintendo game Cybernator, where you control a mech warrior. The level design is brilliant. The explosion animations are fantastic. Oh, it's just one of those games you just feel powerful, so powerful, and everything's destructible, and it's just a beautiful game to play. Great big end of level bosses that are a joy to kill. What can I say, guys? This is Gigantic Army for the Switch. Totally recommend this game. Brilliant game. Another fantastic, brilliant game. Probably one of my favourite games on a Nintendo Switch is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. You've got to be a lover, I guess, of turn-based strategy games. But even if you're not, you can't not admire the cool graphics, the cutie Nintendo graphics, the fun, the humour. It's not always an easy game. Some of the puzzles are quite taxing. I love it. I thought it was brilliant. Finished it, and I finished the Donkey Kong extra DLC. Beautiful game. I really hope they bring a number 2 out of this, a sequel to this, because it's one of my favourite games on the Switch. Next up we've got Steriden, which has one of these randomly generated environments. Each time you play it's a little bit different. I'm not usually a big fan of those type of games, but this is pretty cool. Some fantastic end of level bosses, great pumping, fast paced music that keeps you going, which I think you need in a shooter. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. It's a game I do go back to quite a lot, although I'm not very good at it. It's quite hard. So it's a horizontal shooter. And you get lots of different pickups along the way, which you can choose which ones you want. Yeah, it's good. I'd definitely recommend picking this up, but probably not a physical copy. Download it, guys, because this is quite an expensive game now. Next up, we've got Samurai Showdown. If you like your fighters, guys, this one has to be in your collection. Oh my God, I mean, out of all the fighters, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Samurai Showdown, this is one of my favourites. Great character animations, got that lovely feudal Japan feel about it. Great atmosphere, quite a hard game to master, but I do like it. I just love the character animations, I think they're brilliant. This is a lovely copy from Pixel in Love, which comes in a sort of Neo Geo box, which they used to bring out for the Neo Geo AES. And this has got inside the normal cart that you would get with the game, and you get Samurai Showdown 2, which came out on the Neo Geo Pocket, which you only get with this box collection, which is brilliant. I love this game. I thought it was brilliant. A lovely fighter. I need to get the Samurai Showdown collection, which also comes out in a big box cart like this as well. But yeah, fantastic game. If you love your fighters, guys, you've got to have this for the Switch. It's brilliant. Next up, we got Sisters Royale, which is a modern day shooter. I haven't played this yet, haven't even opened this yet. This only arrived a couple of days ago. It's had mixed reviews. I think from what I've gathered from the reviews, it's a kind of above average shooter, bullet hell game. But I'm willing to give it a go. It's come out by Strictly Limited. And it comes with CD, stickers, lovely book art. It's got a lovely anime feel about it, Japanese feel about it, which I like. I'm getting much more into my bullet hell shooters. I'm slowly getting into them. I think with these type of games that come out, where they're not too hard, it's quite an easy step for players like me to jump on to be honest with you. Not too much of a hard learning curve. So I'm looking forward to playing this one, but can't really comment on what the game's like right now because I really haven't played it. But it's a beautiful box set, that one. Next up, we've got The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Haven't played this. This game I bought a couple of years ago now. I still haven't got round to playing it, but I've heard great things about this game. I think this has got randomly generated environments as well. If I may be wrong, but and it's kind of like, is it a twin stick shooter? I think it is. I've got to give this a go. I've heard great things about that game. Travis Strikes Again. Now I played the No More Heroes games on the Wii, and I loved them for what they were. They were really just they were games really about fighting the end of level bosses. All the little mini games in between I weren't really fussed about. They could have cut all that out and just made it like a fighting game, end of level boss fighting game, and it would have been brilliant, to be honest with you. So I kind of fell in love with them, really. I did like them. I liked the art style, that cel shaded art style. I liked the character. I thought Travis was pretty cool. And it had a kind of retro feel about it. So I was quite interested to see what this is really a spin-off, really. And it wasn't that great, to be honest with you guys. It's a top-down, sort of 3D top-down viewpoint. Difficult to explain, really, but run-of-the-mill game, guys. Not that great. I'm looking forward to the new No More Heroes, which is coming out for the Switch. When that will come, who knows? But I do like Travis. I think he's a pretty cool character, and I will give him a go when he comes out. We got Shantae, Genie Hero, which I haven't played a lot of. Again, I played the 3DS version and loved it. It's a beautiful platform action game, similar to sort of Metroid, really, you know, where you're going back, picking stuff up, which opens up other parts of the map, that kind of thing. But it's got a cute, really cute character, and a great sense of humour, and definitely one to pick up, guys. I know this because I played the 3DS version, but I just haven't played this one yet. But I've heard it's had great reviews. I think there's another one out as well now. And then we got Valkyrie 4 Chronicles, which came out on the PS2, I believe. Another turn-based strategy game. I've played a couple of hours of this. It's got a sort of 3D viewpoint, so you can you've got the map and you've got your move squares, a bit like XCOM. And then when you go into sort of a fight, it goes into third person or first person viewpoint, which gives it a different twist. I don't think any other game had done it like that before. It's okay. I'm just not quite sure on the art style, really. I don't really like the art style of it. But I do like these type of games, and it has had good reviews. So if you like your turn-based strategy games, definitely give it a go, guys. Next up, we've got Children of Morta. This came in a big box limited edition from, is it Strictly Limited? Can't remember, one of those super rare games. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. It's a little bit like Diablo, I guess. But it's the story in this that really draws you in. It's quite a sad story, really, when you get into it. A lot of atmosphere. If you like kind of Diablo type games, you're going to love this. That's Children of Morta. Next up, we've got Gina Sisters, Twisted Dreams, Ultimate Edition. If I'm right in saying, did this come out on the Dreamcast? I'm not sure, but it is a game that's come out on a system before, and it's quite a rare game on that system, worth quite a lot of money, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Beautiful, beautiful looking game, but rock hard. Oh my God, it's rock hard. It's to a point where it's got so frustrated, it's put me off going back, to be honest with you. But man, it does look really, really beautiful. I'm going to give it another go. But yeah, that's Gina Sisters. Next up, we've got Raiden 5. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Raiden series, up to about 4, I guess. And then again, they get a little bit bullet hell for my liking. This one is poor. This is terrible. Absolutely hated this game. Story, who cares about the story? Too much cutscenes, too much animations. Let's just get into the shooting. That's all I want to do. Didn't like the music. Just didn't like the game at all. I don't recommend this at all. If you want to play Raiden, go back to the first one, Raiden 1, Raiden 2, even Jet Raiden's a great game, or Jet Fighters, is it? I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, that's a brilliant game. But this one, don't bother with it, guys. In my opinion, anyway, I didn't like it. Astro Chain, Switch exclusive. I think it was in-house. Is it in-house? I think it is an in-house Nintendo game. Or I may be wrong. Might be a Platinum game. I think it's a Platinum game. I've spent a couple of hours into this. From what I've seen, it looks amazing. You capture these spirits and you can control them. I'm finding the controls a little bit convoluted. There's a little bit to manage there. I guess for me, it's just having the time, really. I haven't had the time to put into this to really say whether I like it or not. But the reviews for this game are amazing. I guess I should go back to this. Next up is Ultra Street Fighter 2. What can I say? Street Fighter, classic fighting game, must for your system. This came out right at the beginning of the Switch. Next up, we've got Dead Cells. Beautiful looking game, retro inspired game, but sort of all the environments are regenerated each time you die, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest with you. That means you've got to keep going back to the beginning, picking up all your stuff again, but each time you get more and more powerful and you get that little bit further. But you know, it's a platform hack and slash game, 2D game, which is really enjoyable. A lot of people love this, but I've heard Hades is the one to get. But again, it's another game that's, the environments are regenerated each time. I'm not a big fan of that genre, to be honest with you. I like to know where everything is. The old memory as I'm getting older is not so good. Ninja Savers, Return of the Warriors. Now, this is a very expensive game on the Super Nintendo, which has been ported to the Switch, which I do have on the SNES. And it is one of my favourite games on the Super Nintendo. This had some additional features. I think it had an extra character and a widescreen landscape profile view on your TV. I love it. I think it's an absolute classic, but again, not for everyone. This was an arcade game as well. Came out in the arcade game, had the 2 screens, wide screens. I love it. You can get a big box version of this as well. Next up, we got Killer Queen Black. This is more of an online multiplayer game, which I haven't played that much of because I don't have great Wi-Fi here since I've moved, so I haven't had much time to play this game. But it's pretty fun. I've seen it playing and it looks a lot of fun. We got Velocity. I can't recommend this enough, guys. I had a lot of fun playing this game. This is a kind of vertical shooter. You're getting pushed up the screen quite a lot of the time. So you're getting sort of a clock really, with puzzles as you're getting pushed up the screen. You're shooting stuff and you're solving puzzles at the same time. Then all of a sudden, it will change into a kind of 2D platform game like Metroid. It's got kind of a futuristic feel about it. Amazing soundtrack. Love the soundtrack to this game. Definitely recommend this one, guys. Velocity, great game. Really enjoying that. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. This literally came through the door this morning. Really looking forward to this. Yeah, what can I say? I played the first one, loved it. This is all based in the Hyrule world of Breath of the Wild. Yeah, guys, I mean, what can I say? I think I love these type of games. I think they're brilliant. Commanding huge legions of armies, fighting huge bosses, and tactically is quite a good game as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to opening that one, playing that one. Blazing Chrome. God, if you love Contra, you're going to love this. This is a nod to all those type of run and gun games that came out on the 16-bit era. Rock hard though, you know, but you can choose your path, your levels that you go on a little bit in the beginning. Very similar to Contra, even right down to the weapons. So yeah, if you love Contra, you're going to love this. Again, this is quite a hard one to find, Blazing Chrome, physically. But yeah, great game, guys. Definitely worth picking up. We got Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Not a fan of this genre. I thought I'd pick it up. Found it for 20 quid in a bargain bin. But not really my type of fighter, really. I just find it a little bit convoluted. I find that the characters, their movesets are so bizarre and out there. It's difficult to know the distances of when to come in and fight and when to come back and defend. But yeah, great soundtrack, heavy metal soundtrack. It's pretty cool. Graphically, it looks cool, but not really my thing. Calagius Blaze, I think it's called. A modern day bullet hell shooter, which I thoroughly enjoyed playing. I've played through it about 4 or 5 times. But again, it's all about high scores. If you're into these kind of bullet hell games, this is highly recommended. I really enjoyed it. Comes in a nice tin box. Here we go. Which is quite nice to add to the collection. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of this genre, but you know, I'm slowly getting into it. I'm trying to get into it because everyone raves about them, but I'm yet to find that killer game. You need to recommend me that killer bullet hell game for me to go, yeah, I'm loving this. Octahedron, I think it's called. This is a bizarre platforming game. Quite frustrating in later levels. Started off really nice. got a very neon feel about it, psychedelic feel about it. You know, you're lighting up flowers and they light up the floor, but then the floor disappears quite quickly if you haven't got through that level quickly enough. Lots of tunnels that you go through. It's actually quite beautiful to look at and quite addictive to play, but find it a little bit too frustrating to my liking. But if you like platform games, definitely give that a go, guys. Definitely give that a go. Right, now really we are on to all my limited edition box sets. So I'll have a little break and then we'll start getting through some of those. Right, we're into the limited box sets now. And what I forgot to show you is the Shantae, which I showed you earlier, comes in a box like this, which is quite nice. Not sure what you get in it, whether it's a CD or art book. Probably not much else. A CD, you get a CD with it. So whether you want to buy it just for the CD is entirely up to you. I don't know whether you can get it just on its own. I'm not quite sure. You know, I don't buy limited edition games for every Switch game. Usually if I see a bargain come up, I'll pick it up because I much prefer a limited edition because I'm a collector. I love the art books and stuff like that. We've got a game here I have yet to play. I'm really looking forward to playing this one actually. It's Gunvolt Chronicles, the Luminous Avenger X, I think it's called. Comes in a beautiful box. Some fantastic art on there, look at that. If you love the Gunvolt series, which I did on the 3DS, I really enjoyed it. It's similar to Mega Man, modern day Mega Man. Very fast paced 2D action game. I haven't played this yet though, guys. I'm really looking forward to playing this. Had good reviews. This is the American edition, which is really nice. Next up we got Ghost plus Epic Collection. I played this. It was all right. You play a character. It's kind of 2D Metroid, that kind of feel, where you control a robot. You can get into the body of the robot and problem solve the puzzles by swapping around. Played that kind of game before, to be honest with you, but it's got quite a nice art style and quite atmospheric. Well, I'm enjoying it. It's not a bad game, but I haven't finished it, so I need to go back into this one. But I do recommend it. Definitely worth picking up, guys. Dead Cells, which I did show earlier. I've got the limited box set, the signature edition, which comes in with a nice art book. To show you this, it's got a nice art book there, an art compendium, and do you know what, I do love the art style of Dead Cells. I think it does look really cool. Let's just show you some of the artwork there. And I love coming down here and I'll have the game on and I might sit here with a cup of coffee and have a look through the art book, because games today, you know, you don't get instructions like you used to when we were into the 16-bit games, 8-bit games, Spectrum games, Commodore 64 games. They all come with a nice little instruction booklet or art booklet, and I think I love all this. It's got a lovely CD soundtrack, which is nice. And if I love the music to some games, I come down and I'll put the music on while I'm just sitting here reading a book, you know. So I do love all these limited edition sets. Highly collectible for people like me. They know how to target people like me, suckers like me, into buying their stuff. But you know, if you like the game, you don't have to buy limited editions for every game, but it's nice on the games that you really do like, and then you know you're going to go back to. I'm going to struggle putting all that back together. They didn't have to go back in the box the way they come out, do they? I'll try that later. Oh, this is an awesome game. This came out on the Neo Geo, I think in 2003. This is Gunlord X. So this is basically a nod to the Turrican series. If you love Turrican, you're going to love this. I thought it was a fabulous game. I think I finished it. I do believe I finished it, or at least I got right to the end. I think I have finished it. I love this game. Thought it was absolutely brilliant. I'm not going to open this one up, but it comes with an art book. And look at that box art, guys. That is going to sit on, when I get my shelves in here, that's going to sit on my shelf, because that is super cool, isn't it? If you haven't got the space to put artwork in your games, it's always nice to show the box art than the spine, you know, because that is absolutely fabulous. Yeah, brilliant game. Totally recommend that, guys. Next, we got another game with fabulous box art, Nightmare Boy. This is quite a weird platform game, which I'm actually quite enjoying. It's got a weird kind of cartoony, 80s cartoon style, I would say. A fun little platform game. Really, really enjoy it. Look at that box art. I mean, you know, what can you say? It's beautiful, isn't it? So cool. Yeah, lovely little platform game, which I recommend, guys. Got The Witcher, which this actually I bought for my son because he's got a Switch, and then I don't know, he started playing on the PS5. Said, Dad, I'm not playing it on the Switch. Do you want to have it? So he gave it to me, and I've given it a couple of hours, and I haven't got into it. I should get into it because it is right up my street. I love fantasy games. You know, it's just all the dialogue, the story. I feel like I don't have time for. But I should give it a go. I mean, it's just one of those games, isn't it, that you have to play. Like Zelda, it's supposed to be absolutely amazing. So maybe I should give that a go. This is a recent pickup I showed in my last video, The Messenger. I'm playing this at the moment, absolutely loving it. Brilliant platforming, action game, fighting game, you know, on the lines of kind of like Strider. It's got actually, it feels a little bit like Bruce Lee. Do you remember Bruce Lee on the Commodore 64 Sinclair Spectrum? The level designs are very similar to that. And of course, you're a ninja. Bruce Lee was a ninja, wasn't he? Although, you know, he wasn't a hidden ninja. Didn't dress up like one, but he was a ninja. He was a highly skilled fighter. And this just reminds me of Bruce Lee for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think it's the level designs, but there's a lot more to it than Bruce Lee. You can level up. It's got an 8-bit feel to it, 8-bit graphics. But the soundtrack's absolutely awesome. I'm absolutely loving this game and can't recommend this enough, guys. Definitely pick up The Messenger. Next, we've got Oxen Verge, or Axon Verge. You know, I should absolutely love this game, and people keep telling me, and especially in my last video, that I should give it more time. Because it's, you know, it's a nod to Metroid. The guy who made this in his bedroom on his own loved Metroid. And because we don't see that many Metroid games coming out, do we? Still waiting for Metroid 4. I reckon that's probably going to be another 5 years before that comes out, because they've got someone at Retro Studios on board making Metroid now with a total new team. So God knows when that's going to come out. So it is nice to see games like this that play homage to Metroid games, and I'm enjoying it so far. I just feel, I don't know, it's just something missing. It's just not quite as good as a Metroid game, but definitely worth picking up. Then we've got a game here that I haven't opened. I showed this in my last video. Don't bother buying this, guys. This is Bounty Battle. It's had terrible reviews. I had high hopes of this game being sort of like a fighting game with all the retro-inspired characters like Hollow Knight and Dead Cells are in there, and a few others. Can't remember all the others, but yeah, Guacamelee I think's in it. The character from Guacamelee is in it. But yeah, apparently it's clunky, plays terrible. So I'll probably sell that, move that on, to be honest. There's no point keeping it just for keepsake. Then we're going to open some more now. More big boxes to open. So before we get into the big box limited edition stuff, some of my favourite stuff in the collection, I've got The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which was a lovely port from the Game Boy onto the Switch with totally new graphics. Beautiful game to look at. You almost felt like you could reach out and touch it. You know, it looked like Toyland. It just beautiful art style. Never seen anything like it. And I love Zelda games. Love all of them. I think they're brilliant. I prefer them over Mario, to be honest with you. I just love them. Very charming game. Well worth getting that, guys. Next up, we have the Sekio collection. This is the Bravo collection. So we got Gunbird, Gunboat 2, Tenjai, Samurai Aces. There's another one on there I can't read. A fabulous collection of 90s shooters. If you love that kind of stuff. I prefer these type of shooters over the bullet hell, to be honest with you. Sort of the pinnacle of what I like, really. Gunbird's a fantastic game, and it's lovely to have this on the Switch. Beautiful collection with CDs in there and a little art book. And for £45–50, guys, what these go for, it's a must for your collection. Really is. And then we have the Sekio collection, the Alpha collection. So there's just this one and the other one, and you've got Strikers 1945, Strikers 1945 2, and Strikers 1945 3, Dragon Blaze, Soul Divide, and Zero Gunners 2, which are all fantastic games. I really enjoyed Soul Blade and Dragon Blade. I mean, they've got that kind of rendered graphics going on, which was a big sort of thing in the 90s thing to do, an art style. Fabulous games, brilliant box set. Again, for £45, what you get, the double CD pack and the art book. Yeah, it's great. Can't go wrong with that for the money, for what you get on there. You know, you'd pay hundreds for some of those PCBs, and you've got them all on the Switch. Fantastic collection, really is. And you know, that's the box that you get if you was to buy just them on their own. Next up, we've got one of my favourite box sets on the Switch, and one of my favourite games on the Switch. It's none other than Bayonetta, the Climax Edition. This is a Japanese import. Comes with both games. It's the only way to get both games was to import it from Japan. I mean, I just absolutely love this game. I played it on the Wii, loved it. Couldn't wait to play it on the Switch. It's just one of those games like Devil May Cry. It was a step up from Devil May Cry. It was faster. Graphically, I think it looked better. I think the character is better. I love a really strong female character. She's cool as hell. I mean, with the long black hair that turns into a dragon and a long black leather suit with the high heels. I mean, she's just so cool. All the movesets were cool. You had her spinning on her back, shooting out of her stilettos. Just amazing movesets. Fantastic Japanese bosses that were just so bizarre and out there. It could only have come from Japan. You know what I mean? It's just so cool. Love this game. Can't wait for Bayonetta 3. And this is one of my favourite box sets on the Switch. Quite a hard one to get, quite expensive to get. But comes with both the games. And you get a tin box there for them, which is lovely. And I think I'm right in saying you get a box, an art box, where you get some cards. Is that Bayonetta card set? Let's have a look at that. Yeah, get the Bayonetta card set, the 2 games, and this is the only way to get a physical copy of Bayonetta 2 is to buy the Japanese import. They didn't give it a European release at all. So it is quite a hard game to find. But again, if it is one of those games that you absolutely love, a game that you're always going to go back to, why not splash out like I did and get the limited box set? Because it'll sit on my shelf and I'll look at that and I think, right, time to pick that game up again and give it another playthrough, because I absolutely love it. Fantastic game. Probably my prized possession in my Switch collection is this. Love it so much, so cool. Next up, we have another absolutely fantastic game, Valfarius, the Signature Edition. Wow, this game blew me away. I mean, I was just not expecting this. One of the best retro-inspired 2D hack and slash type games, which is my favourite. I love hack and slash. Just love this. It's got a lot of humour. It's got a lot of humour. It's got a wicked soundtrack. The soundtrack's heavy metal. It's pumping heavy metal. And at the end of every level, your head gives a good old head bang. You see all his hair banging away when he's destroyed an end of level boss. And the end of level bosses are amazing. I love the graphics. So cool. All the weapons are cool. Flamethrowers, big heavy machine guns, grenade launchers, all that kind of stuff. Just makes you feel powerful. This is a beautiful, beautiful box set, and a game that I'll always go back to because I thoroughly enjoyed it. If I can get it open, I can struggling to get this open. There's a vacuum in there. Come on. So you get some lovely art cards. These are definitely going to go on my wall. There you can see the sort of enemy bosses you're going to be up against. Look at that art style, man. It's just so cool. You get a signed card there. You get the game, some pin badges, and a lovely art book. The art book, oh, and you get soundtrack as well. You get a soundtrack as well. Some pin badges. And the art book, you can tell straight away. This is the sort of thing, if you had opened up with, you've got a Super Nintendo game, you sat here for ages looking at all the enemy bosses that you might encounter along the way. I love this package, it's beautiful. So, and again, this is one of my favourite games in my collection. Can't recommend this enough, guys. If you haven't got it, just go out there and buy it, because you won't be disappointed. Yeah, it's hard. There's some bits in it that are really rock hard, but you know, it's the challenge, isn't it? You've got to love the challenge of the game. Anyway, that's that. It can take me ages to put all that back properly. Next up, we've got probably the best game on the Switch, the one I've spent the most hours on, and I've got the lovely limited edition box set, which comes with a sword of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Again, this takes pride and place on my shelf when I get it. When I get my shelf on my table. For now, beautiful game. What can I say, guys? You've probably heard enough about it. But yeah, it's a lovely box set. Lovely addition for the Switch collection. Can't wait for the new Zelda to come out. Next up we have, which I showed last week, Windjammers. Yet to open this. This comes with a Frisbee, which I'm going to be using all the time. But I love the game. I love the game. I think it's a really cool arcade game. Great two-player game. I'm just so glad it's on the Switch in this lovely box set. And if you haven't played it, I can't recommend it enough, guys. Go out and play Windjammers. It's cool. Really cool game. And last of all, yes, it is last of all. This is my, oh no, we've got two more lovely box sets. We have the Capcom Belt Edition. This is a Japanese import. So this comes with all those fantastic Capcom side-scrolling beat-em-ups. It's got Captain Commando, King of Dragons, Final Fight, Knights of the Round, Battle Circuit, Power Gear, and I don't know the name of the other one because it's in Japanese, but it is a pretty cool game. These are really cool side-scrolling beat-em-ups. The only thing that's missing, making this a perfect collection, is Alien vs Predator and Dungeons & Dragons, because they're two of my favourite. But I'm hoping they're going to bring a part 2 out, or sequel to this collection, because this is awesome. It's got some lovely art cards in here. So the art on the front there is what's inside the box on A4 size cards, which I'm going to get framed and put on my games room. So they're super cool. But I love this package. I think it's brilliant. This is what I like about the Switch. The box art, the packaging, everything is amazing. It really is. Who wants loads of blue spines on the shelf? It's nothing more boring than looking at a load of spines. You want to flip these round and show off your favourite games in your games room, and this will be one of them. Just love it. Arcade games on the Switch with lovely box sets like that. Really cool. And we get to the last game. Again, one of my favourite box sets in my collection, and I've already pre-ordered the second box set, which is coming out hopefully before Christmas, I'm not sure. Is the Darius collection, which comes in this lovely Taito box, which is super nice. Again, from someone like me who loves arcade games, to have a lovely box set like this on the Switch. I've never seen, there's no other Nintendo console that brought box sets out like this. I mean, this is what I love about the Switch. In here, you get so much for your money, honestly. So this is the box set, which I'll show you inside in a minute. Inside that, you get the arcade instruction decals, which you would have had on your candy cabs or your dedicated Darius cabs. You get, you know, toppers like this. You get a beautiful, I mean, this book alone is absolutely stunning. The whole history of Darius in this book, which is amazing. I mean, and half of it's in Japanese and the other side's in English. I mean, just a stunning package altogether. Beautifully presentation, cartoons, prototypes, stories, you name it, it's all in here. You know, I would love something like this for Metroid. You know, so wish Nintendo would do more of this kind of stuff. Obviously, this is not Nintendo, this is Taito, a collaboration with Taito, and is it Strictly Limited? I think Strictly Limited brought this out. But amazing package, really is amazing package. And I can't wait for the Darius Burst collection, which was obviously the later Darius games that came out with a big twin screen or three screen arcade machine with big subwoofers underneath. And here, inside this package here, you get CD, you get coasters, you get the game, obviously, pin badges. I mean, it's just an all-round amazing package that's going to sit on my shelf, and, you know, just so proud of owning something like this. It's awesome, absolutely awesome. And that's why I love collecting for the Switch, really. Just so many awesome games, so many awesome packages. Well, that is it, guys. That is my Switch collection. I've got more Switch games coming, already on pre-order. And I won't probably do another Switch collection for another year because I don't like doing them. I don't mind doing the pickups videos, but collecting videos I do struggle with. But there you go, that is my Switch collection. And the reason behind the Switch collection videos is so that you guys can see what games are available for the system and what games I would recommend. There's a lot there. My favourites: Smash Brothers, Zelda, Valtharius, the Seiko collection's amazing, Windjammers, the Capcom collection's amazing, Samurai Showdown's another favourite, Gigantic Army was a brilliant game, so many. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope I've inspired you to go out and buy a few of these games and spend some of that hard-earned cash of yours. That's the worst part of these films, isn't it? You end up spending loads of money. I know I do whenever I watch someone else's collection videos. Oh, I ain't got that. That sounds really cool. But this is what it's all about, really. Exposing some of the really cool games on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe some that you've never seen before. So I'm going to finish up now, guys, with my top 5 Nintendo Switch games, which I love playing. So at number 5, we've got Mario plus Rabbids at the Kingdom Battle. Thoroughly enjoyed this game and finished it, and finished the expansion pack, the Donkey Kong expansion pack. And I'm really hoping they bring out a number 2, a sequel to this, because I really did enjoy it. Number 4, we have Bayonetta. Now I'm cheating here a little bit because there's 2 games here, but and I know this was on the Wii U rather, but it's on the Switch. It's a fantastic game, a beautiful game. It's cool as hell. It's so cool. Such a brilliant, strong female character, which is great to see. Don't see that many really good female characters. I'd like to see more of them, really. But she's absolutely brilliant. She kicks ass, and finished both these games and thoroughly enjoyed them. Next up, we've got at number 3, Valfarius. It's just an unbelievable retro-inspired 2D pixelated side-scrolling hack and slash shoot 'em up with loads of gore, loads of guts, loads of brilliant designs on the end of level bosses. It's got a lot of humour, and it's hard in places, but if you stick out you will get through it. I can't recommend this game enough, guys. It's absolutely brilliant. I've so much enjoyed that. And then at number 2, a game I've probably sunk about 50 hours in, not that much compared to most, but it's a game I will always go back to because I love it so much. Just all the characters, they're updating it constantly with new characters from all different genres and games. It's just amazing to see Bayonetta in there, and the Street Fighter characters, and a lot of arcade characters, lots of nods back to Nintendo's history. I just love it. I think it's brilliant. And of course, I'm sure you're going to guess what my number 1 game is because I've spent so many hours into it. It's of course Breath of the Wild. 600 hours and I'm still playing it, and can't wait for a sequel, which hopefully will be the end of next year if we're lucky enough. So that's it, guys. That is my top 5 Nintendo Switch games. Obviously not everybody's top 5, but they're the games I've enjoyed the most on the system. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.